Are the big 4 lifts hurting your body? Here's why you should or shouldn't avoid them.
Our next caller is Amy from Florida.
Amy, how's it going? How can we help you?
Hey guys, good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having me. So I have a question that I've not heard answered in any form yet, and I've been listening for a few years. So
That's impressive.
here we go. So if my goal is to lose body fat and gain lean muscle, what's the best way to do that if I can't include the big 4 compound lifts?
Let's first figure out.
Why?
Tell us why we can't do the big lifts again.
Yeah, so I've been weightlifting since high school. In my mid-30s, I got into powerlifting, so I've been lifting for a long time and have sort of accumulated some injuries. I have a bicep tear, or I had a bicep tear, 2 surgeries to repair that. I have a slight shoulder separation. I've got sacroiliitis in my back, which is fairly new. And then as of a couple days ago, I found out I have a torn meniscus. So slight tear there. So every time I try to do, squatting or benching or overhead pressing, it's pretty painful or, not ideal.
Okay. By the way, for clarification, I'm reading your question here. You competed in powerlifting at an extremely high level. You have a, let's see here, multiple state and national records and 1 world record squat.
I did at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that squat number at what body weight? Just for fun.
I was in the 82.5 kilo weight class, and it was 341.
341. Wow. Wow. That's hell impressive.
That's awesome. Okay, so look, here's the deal. The reason, obviously, I don't need to tell you this. The reason why you have hit some of these injuries, or you have this accumulation of injuries, is you went beyond strength training for health and mobility and fitness into extreme performance, competitive extreme performance. It's just a part of the game. You sacrifice things like longevity and health for high level performance. Okay. That being said, here's the deal. It's very unlikely that you can never or should never squat, deadlift, bench press, or overhead press. It's very likely that you're going to need to do some targeted, let's say, mobility and correctional exercise work, and work your way into being able to do those exercises again, but not train them like you did at the level that you were at. Okay. So in other words, I mean, you squatted a tremendous amount of weight. Like, I don't even think you probably would want to work out with half that much.
You don't even need half.
Now
multiplanar work and unilateral work. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, honestly, you've been living in that sagittal plane for so long at such a high level. Your body could benefit so much from just moving differently and strengthening other ranges of motion. And so if that's your focus, even if that's for a few years, like, there's nothing wrong with like diving full deep in that direction.
I see map symmetry, which is laid out with isometrics first, then unilateral, and then a final phase of bilateral work. But when you get to the final phase, you go super light. Super light, and super light for you is like less than 50% of what you're used to moving the barbell at.
Just make the weight feel heavy with your forearm.
And then you move from a program like that to like a MAPS performance. That type of training for you, especially with your expertise and your ability to do good form and technique, like that should be your focus.
Yeah. Amy, you know what the challenge is going to be with you?
What?
It's not wanting to go heavy.
Yeah,
because you're strong as fuck.
Yeah, the challenge has nothing to do with the exercises with you. Okay, squats, deadlifts, bench presses, overhead presses, when done a particular way, are extremely restorative and protective on the body. Okay, the challenge is not the exercises. The challenge is going to be how you do the exercises and the mentality of your workouts. Training at the level that you trained at, it's probably you're probably even going to be unaware that you're going to push beyond where you're supposed to. I will encourage you to do this. This is something that I think powerlifters can benefit from tremendously. When you do your lifts at your level, you're so focused on leverage and biomechanical advantage that you're not even thinking about, do I feel this in my shoulders or my back or my chest or anything like that. I want you to start training, follow our programs, and think like a bodybuilder. Do I feel this in my hamstring? Do I feel this in my delt? Do I feel this in my mid back? focus on muscle connection. It's going to be totally foreign to you. But I think that's going to help keep you away from the kind and style of training that, kind of caused some of these problems in the first place. MAP Symmetry is a perfect program.
It's perfect for you, and it sets you up for exactly that, because you're not even going to worry about any of these big compound lifts until the end of the program.
And don't look at the weight on the bar. It's going to be so hard for you to look at the weight and be like, this is stupid. I want to lift way more. Don't worry about it. Focus on the feel. Go slow, controlled. The first 2 weeks is all isometrics. Don't skip that. I know you're going to want to skip that. Don't skip that. And just do it the way that we're saying, and you're gonna go real far. You're gonna feel really good if you do it that way.
A good piece of advice for an ex-power lifter moving in this direction, and obviously knowing that you're gonna have a challenge with reducing the weight significantly, is become obsessed with the negative. Become obsessed with, lowering the weight extremely slow in all the movements that you're doing and feeling connected in the muscles, like Sal was saying. Like that is because powerlifters are so focused on the explosion, the leverage, and the technique of moving the bar hard and fast, right? This way, now you're shifting over to slowing it way down, feeling the muscles, like Sal was saying, like literally become obsessed with the eccentric portion of the exercise.
But let me emphasize the feel the muscle part, because powerlifters do go slow on the negative, but they don't go slow the same way a bodybuilder would. A powerlifter is going slow on the negative to maximize leverage for the lift. They want to stay in the groove, whereas a bodybuilder is like, can I lower the bar and feel it in my chest? Okay, so that's the big difference, okay? So it's not just about going slow on the negative. It's about feeling it in the target muscles, which is going to help you avoid going in the direction that caused those injuries in the first place.
Okay.
All right?
So being back in back squatting at 185 is probably too much right now.
Do MAP Symmetry is the perfect program to get into, because you're going to do exercise you've never done before. So you're probably not gonna know how to judge the weight anyway. So just follow that program and then follow by MAP. That's a perfect recommendation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
You got it.
Amy.
Thanks for calling in.
All right. Take care.
She's stronger than you.
Just want to point that out.
She definitely is right now.
Hey, it's good to point that out, because people who don't understand strength training will often point to the extremes and say, "Oh, look, it's so dangerous, or it hurts you, or whatever." It's like, look, when you do anything at an extremely high level, you are sacrificing,
you're pressuring the hinges.
Yeah.
She just went to a level that not a lot of people can go, and she just went to the point where it's like, your body's so strong, it's gonna sort of alter your, and put wear and tear in your joints. So that's why, for me, I kind of relate to this in a little bit. Not that I was like a high level power lifter or anything, but just doing squats, doing bench, doing overhead press, doing power cleans forever. I vowed to never do a power clean again. Like, she's at that point, she's like, "Oh, I'm not going to do," like, I could tell what she's getting at. Like, I don't want to do any of these lifts anymore. They're just breaking me. Yeah. Right. But she has a different relationship with it right now because she went at such a high level. And so I actually went for a year, like, away from it, and just did nothing but body weight and got into Olympic rings. And it was like the best thing I could have done to restore my joint health and stability. But thankfully we have a program that sort of like guides her through that process.
Well, I'm glad you went that way, Justin, because another thing I was going to add, hopefully that she listens to this, is that even though symmetry is laid out for you to move into the bilateral stuff at the end, there's nothing wrong with you repeating the phase before and staying unilateral
and not going there.
And because, Justin, you said something that was my concern, is that she knows herself better than we know her. And she knows that when she does these squat overhead, these big lifts, that she keeps getting hurt because her tendency is to push the weight, and she's going to feel like she's not doing anything.
Especially if she starts to feel good.
Right. So if you listen to this, Amy, and you do know that you will have this tendency to keep wanting to put weight on the bar because you can, because you're so strong, there is nothing wrong with you actually not doing those lifts and repeating the phase before and staying unilateral. Performance is mostly unilateral stuff. If it's not, you can change out your squats for Bulgarian split stance or lunges or step ups. So you know how to do that because you're an advanced lifter. Just supplement some of those exercises if you know that you have a tendency to do that. And there is nothing wrong with someone at her level just ignoring those lifts for a year until you've got to a place where you know you won't do that.